because you came out of that black woman womb. They hated you from birth. This conspiracy has been going on. You got to do is look at Exodus chapter 2. They've been killing us for the longest. They did the same thing when the Lord was born. They don't realize every young black man in here got power in him if he come back to his God. These people fear that. See, they know if these men stand up and beat men, they can save a whole nation. See, y'all don't understand something. See, that word, that's our God, that's our book, that's our law, them our ways. And we got a power these people can't take away if we come back to it, and they fear that. They don't want you to stand up and be a husband. They don't want you to stand up and be a father. They don't want you to pay bills and direct your household in righteousness. They don't want that to happen. So you got to sit back and look at the very thing they don't want to happen. You got to stand up and do it. It ain't no time to be playing around when your soul on the line and your people are in degradation and damnation, and you just wondering why. It's too many women out here crying because they putting their son in a box. It's too many mamas sad because they got to get in the car, go see their son because he got 15 years in the chain gang. So then we got to look at what we're going to do to stop it and change it and correct it. That means we got to change our mind frame. You got to, see, the Lord's not going to come down here and do it for you. He ain't going to magically say, okay, voila, you're going to stop smoking cigarettes, it's over. Voila, you're going to stop being a whoremonger, it's over. It's not going to happen. You got to get it in your heart and in your mind, I'm not doing that no more. And that way you can save each and one of these young men in here, because you'll set that standard and example. And if they choose to do what they want to do and you set that example, that just means they stupid. Don't shed no tears for them. You a dummy, because I ain't taught it to you. You just want to do what you want to do. You know, another thing, we were talking about this yesterday, when I was preaching yesterday. You got to understand something. You see these young men right here, you know what a lot of change these young men, let's say you come in the house, you find crack in your son's room. You know what you're supposed to tell him? You can't stay here if you're going to do that, son. If you're going to keep selling dope, I don't know where you're going to stay, but you can't stay here. And put him out there on the street. And if he get killed, that's on him. Because you got to let him know, this ain't evil's not going on in my house. You walk in your house, you find your son getting freaky in the house, son, you can't live here and do that. See, if you actually sat back and you set that discipline and you be consistent with it and you don't back down on it and show them, I will not condone or enable any contrary behavior, I bet they get in line or perish. And you let them know, these white folks got somewhere for you. I ain't going to call them on you, but you won't live here. See, our people used to do that 40, 50, 60 years ago. We don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? We don't shame people for doing stuff that's wrong. You just make excuses for them. You be like this here, oh, it's all right. You know, he just young. No, it ain't young. It's not all right. It's not all right. That's what we have to sit back and realize. It's not all right. If we sit back and look at how these people treat us, it's not all right, then we got to sit back and let us know that our sons and our daughters, when they do things that we don't accept, it's not right. See, we don't have any of that because we weren't about upsetting the kids. We weren't about what other people gonna say, what other people gonna think. You gotta remember, them your children. It's your job to save their life. It's your job to teach them right. And if they don't want to do right, they don't have to live with you. You can give them a change of address. You know what I'm saying? I'm being serious though. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way you sit back, husbands. You know, the book tell his husband you're supposed to love your wife as the Lord loved his wife and gave his life for her. See, our people ain't been taught that. A man ain't been taught he's supposed to love his wife and hold it down for her, not disrespect her, not call her name, not treat her like a dog. You know what I'm talking about? You're supposed to love, honor, cherish, and respect that woman. Say ain't no man ever hated his own flesh, so any man who loves himself, he gonna love his wife. Same way the Lord told us a woman's supposed to love her husband as unto the Lord. So you gotta sit back and look at it. You married, if you disrespect your husband, I know you wouldn't stand before the Lord and disrespect him. Ain't now one of you women in here can tell me if the Lord told you to do something, you'll talk back to him. So you can't sit here and tell me you're gonna be a woman of God and disrespect your husband like that when the words say you're wrong. Ain't nowhere in the world a woman should be holding her husband down and for her taking care of everything. That's his job. Unless something doesn't happen, it's just a short period of time. Man should want to take care of her. Ain't no man got no business moving in to live with no woman. She's supposed to move in and live with you. That's what the Lord did. The Lord prepared a place for his wife. He didn't come move in with her and say, I'm gonna live with you. She came and lived with him. You know another way that we'll stop having all these illegitimate children? Keep your leg closed, keep your penis in your pants. Then guess what? When them children see that, they'll know this here. Shoot, my mama and them didn't have sex till they got married. When they see that, that'll stop your children from doing these things. It's little small, minute things that we could change that could save our whole community, save our whole nation. But we don't want to do it because we like to feel good and then ask the Lord for forgiveness later. It don't work like that. If we want a change in our community, us as adults got to set the standard. The standard is Kodesh. The standard is holiness. The standard is set apart. Stop trying to be like people who hate God and be like a people who love God. That's the objective. We could get on the financial aim. You know what objective that is? Seek to spend money with each other before you seek to spend it with somebody else. Any of y'all ever heard of Black Wall Street before? You know, in Black Wall Street, that was a city in Tulsa, a community in Tulsa, Oklahoma. See, them white folks got mad because we were eating so good that a dollar would be spent 100 times in that community before it ever left up out of there, and they burned it down. See, we'll take our money and go spend it with the very people who hate you and call you a nigga to your face and be happy to do it. But we won't spend with one another. Or if we do business with one another, we feel like we can do business with each other any kind of way. Or you'll go ask a black man to give you a discount, but you wouldn't dare go to them white folks' establishment and ask them to do it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? Black folks good for that, so I can get a discount. Why? Because you black. I got mouths to feed. You ain't gonna go to Walmart and ask them to do it. We sit back and look at most of our communities across town. Ain't a grocery store in sight. We supposed to be eating garbage. And you wonder why you got diabetes and high blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? We don't teach each other how to eat right. We don't teach each other to be physically fit. We don't teach each other to be fiscally responsible. We don't even teach our children to say, you know what, son, you don't want to go to college, get a trade, get a skill, son, you can take with you for life. Even if you're not working at a particular business, you can still make money even if you ain't working with somebody because you got a trade and a skill you can use. We don't teach our kids that. We just tell them, go to the white man's school, and when he give you a degree and he tell you, you're a good nigga, you're a good slave, and then we happy and we jump up and down about it. Then he get this degree and he wonder why he can't get no job. Now he around here shucking and jiving, kissing his oppressor behind. See, our whole mentality got to change. You have to stop looking at the television and listening to music and think that's the reality of what your life ought to be. Because they don't call it radio and television programming for nothing. They programming you in a thought process and a mentality that they want you to have so you can stay doing what you always been doing, which is absolutely nothing. How many of y'all been told you can be like Christ? Well, then we have, instead of being told that, we actually got to start doing it. The only way you can do it, which is a whole other matter, you have to be taught the word, but we're not going to go into that right now. But I mean, we have to have that mentality. See, the Lord taught us to love one another. The Lord was the king of all the earth, and he was humble enough to wash his disciples' feet. To show us an example, we ought to love one another and wash each other's feet. We ought to look out for one another. We ought to take care of one another. We ought to spend with one another. That's the only way we're going to get freedom. Our freedom ain't going to come from no white man, ain't going to come from no ballot box. It's going to come from your God. It's up to you if you choose to do it. With that being said, I want to again rise and give glory and honor to the Most High Yah by way of Yahshua, the true Messiah. And I appreciate y'all this afternoon. Yo.
Y'all give a hand for him one more time. He said some powerful words for real. I really hope y'all really took in that message because this is real. Like I tell my friends all the time, we living in the last days. They be shocked like, what you talking about, bro? That's what the Father do. He'll take people you least expect and flip them around and change, and then when they start speaking that truth and that knowledge, it's gonna hit you more. Like when I was growing up, when I went to college, matter of fact, I went to FAMU. I started off DJing. My name was DJ Lil Stanley. So I used to be partying. All my friends know I used to DJ at strip clubs, house parties, all that. And I'm thinking that's cool. Listen to the music that I'm thinking that's cool. That's talking about for us, black people music. We know the Lil Boosie, the Plies, and all that other stuff. So I'm DJing, and then one night, the Father came to me on a Friday night. It was like, hey, I need you to change. And I tell people this story all the time. A lot of people don't believe me, but the Father really came to me. It was like, hey, people really look up to you. People really follow you. You have a following. Like, people really like you. You have a great personality. So when I took that message in, he was like, I need you to change and spread this word and get people around you to understand, to seek God, to seek him and live righteously. It's not about going to church every Sunday and paying your tithes. It's about what you do outside them four walls. That's what counts, because he's judging their heart. Everybody could be in church every Sunday paying the tithes and praising God, but outside the four walls, they live a whole totally different life. Now I'm saying we all fall short. The Bible said we all fall short, and everybody gonna sin, but is we really seeking perfection? But I ain't gonna talk too much, it's not my turn, so we're gonna go to the next one. John Marcus. Y'all give a hand for John Marcus. Yes, sir.
Yeah, they pretty much rounded us, so we can even leave. But no, I just came here to share my story with everybody. I was in a car accident 11 years ago. And the guy that I with, I didn't even know him. I just got in the car with him, and we was in the car accident. I told the guy 3 times to slow down. It was my first time talking to him, even speaking to him, and I got in the car with him, and I broke my neck. But when I first got paralyzed, I couldn't even move anything, couldn't move nothing but my neck. And I wanted to give up on life and stuff like that. I gave up on everybody, my mom, God. But one day when I got out of the hospital, my doctor, he sent me to a hospital called Shriners Hospital in Philadelphia. And they told me that they can help me out. So when he told me that, it was far from Jacksonville, so I'm like, man, I'm all the way in Philadelphia. I want to go home. But me and my mama, we sat down and talked and stuff like that. She said, well, you know, I can't help you as much as, you know what I'm saying, just being by yourself. Because everybody told my mom to give up on me. So she didn't give up on me. Even though the doctor told her to give up on me, she didn't give up on me. So my doctor told me about the hospital in Philadelphia, and they said they can do a lot for me to get me to move my arms and stuff like that. And they helped me to move my arms and stuff like that. I can feed myself, I work. I've been at my job for 8 years. I started this organization called HYBY. It's H-Y-B-Y, Help Yourself, Better Yourself. And like my man said, if you help yourself now, you can better yourself for the future. And that's the whole thing for my organization. It's so much people going on like killing and stuff like that, they don't have the right mindset because so many young people, like I said, the rap music is killing us right now. And we shouldn't be able to listen to that because we have our own mind. And we set our mind right now, we can better ourselves for the future. I have friends who've been in jail and got felonies that right now they can't find a job. But if they made the right decision back then, they can better themselves for the future. So that's my whole mindset with my organization, Help Yourself, Better Yourself. I'm not gonna keep you on, but I just want to share my story with everybody.
All right. After we do we have 6 speakers. After the 6 speakers, we're gonna have somebody for the audience. If they want to just give a 2-minute little speech, you can say anything you want, whatever's coming on your mind.